barakatuhu, and Eid Mubarak to all listeners. MashaAllah, we are here on the second day of Eid, inshallah, and Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton is serving the community, serving you, and inshallah trying our best to put on some community-focused radio programs. So my name is Yusuf Shafi, and today I will be doing my usual Quran stories program. And because it is the day of Eid, inshallah ta'ala, we will also have our fun and frolics as we try our best to do during these events. First of all, Eid Mubarak to all of my listeners. Eid Mubarak to everybody out there. MashaAllah, this is an auspicious occasion. This is a time when we remember the story of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and how him and his family were involved in the sacrifice of the ram, and we commemorate that with our qurbani, and the trials and tribulations of Hazrat Hajara alayhi salam, and how she was involved with running from Safa to Marwa in order to find water for her son Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, and through that the whole process of Hajj. And last week we covered the Hajj and we described the key events that take place during Hajj. And Zilhijjah, the 10th of Zilhijjah was on Thursday, inshallah. It was happening in Saudi. Much small event, of course, this year, much not at all as big as it usually is, and that's due to the COVID crisis. However, nonetheless, it was an event which was as auspicious as ever. And through that, inshallah, we learned how the various processes and how the various things that take place during the course of the Hajj, how they are there to signify and commemorate that beautiful family of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and their commitment to Tawheed, their commitment to one Allah, and how they live their lives, and how what they did we then repeat. So whether it be the stoning of the shaitan, as was done by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, as they walk towards Mount Arafat, as they walked to become, as Ismail was to become sacrificed. Both father and son were united and said, we shun shaitan and we will go forward. And of course then the sacrifice of the ram as well. MashaAllah, it's a beautiful time. No doubt families got together, enjoyed these beautiful days, and they will have an opportunity to meet, of course, with bearing in mind social distancing. Alhamdulillah. We are now today carrying on with stories from the Quran, and the story that we'll move on to now today is the story of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. So inshallah, let's start with a little bit of nasheed. We've got Qamarun with Mustafa Atif, and straight after that inshallah we'll come back and carry on with a little bit of talk about Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam.
وأطيب منك لم تلد النساء خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب كأنك قد خلقت كما قمرون سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل سيدنا النبي
MashaAllah, that was Qamarun with Mustafa Atif. Alhamdulillah. Let's inshallah start our first our continuing program of the stories of the prophets from the Quran. And so Bismillah, we are starting with the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf was a young boy, both handsome and intelligent. He had 11 brothers. His father Yaqub loved him more than any of his other sons. One night Yusuf had a wonderful dream. He saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon all bowing down to him. He was quite amazed by the dream, and what did it mean? How could the stars, the sun and the moon bow down to a man? Young Yusuf alayhi salam went to his father Yaqub alayhi salam and told him about his dream. He said, "Father, I saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon in a dream. I saw them bowing down to me." Surah 12, Ayah 4. Yaqub alayhi salam was a prophet and understood. He was very happy about this dream. He said, "Allah has blessed you, Yusuf. Something great will happen to you. This dream contains the good news that you will be given knowledge and prophecy. Allah blessed your grandfather Ishaq alayhi salam, and He blessed your ancestor Ibrahim alayhi salam. He will bless you, and He will bless the family of Yaqub alayhi salam." So mashallah, within that first little paragraph there, we've been described the ancestry. So Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam had his younger son Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, who was then the father of Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam, who was then the father of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. And you can see how great-grandfather to father to grandfather to father to son, the prophecies carried on within that family, mashallah. Yaqub alayhi salam was an old man who knew about human nature. He knew how Satan can confuse and overcome people. He said, "My son, do not tell any of your brothers about your dream. They will envy you and become your enemies." Yusuf alayhi salam had another brother by the same mother. His name was Binyamin alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam loved them both very much. He did not love anyone as much as he loved them. The brothers were jealous. This is the other brothers. So remember, there were another 11 brothers in total. The brothers were jealous of Yusuf and Binyamin and were very bitter. They would say, "Why does our father love Yusuf and Binyamin more than us? Why does he love them when they are young and weak? Why doesn't he love us as much when we are strong and young men? This is very strange indeed," they would say. Yusuf was young and innocent. Yusuf alayhi salam was young and innocent. He told his brothers about his dream. The brothers got very angry indeed when they heard about it and became even more jealous. One day the brothers got together and said, "If we kill Yusuf or drive him away to some distant land, then we will have our father's love all to ourselves, and he will love only us." One of them said, "No, throw him into a well beside the road, then some travellers will take him." Finally, the brothers agreed to that plan. Let's carry on inshallah with some nasheed. Allahu. It's a touching nasheed inshallah.
As I look to nature's beauty, dazzled am I, knowing everything calls on you, the Lord Most High. الله الذي يهدينا جميعا، الله الذي نعتز به جميعا. الله 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 राहतों से दामन भरता है तू Wer mächtigste und der barmherzigste? Wer hört unsere Gebete und schickt uns die Hilfe? Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, সৃষ্টি করেছ সুন্দর পৃথিবী মানুষ পশু পাখি সাগর নদী
Vettem tu Allah te adorim Vettem prete yedim kërkojm
Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, 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 Allah, Mon Seigneur, vous êtes le seul que j'adore. Je m'adresse à vous avec un cœur plein d'amour.
تذكرك أنني مجدرج كوكو مدلي رازاني أمرازتو
Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, 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 Allah.
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار
Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, Allahu,
MashaAllah, that was Allahu, heart-touching nasheed. MashaAllah, multilingual, lots of different languages all coming together there. Subhanallah. Let's carry on with the story of Hadrat Yusuf alayhi salam. Then the 10 brothers went to Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub was very afraid for Yusuf. He knew that the brothers were jealous of him and did not love him. So he would not allow Yusuf to go away with them. Yusuf used to play with his brother Binyamin, but he did not go far away. The brothers knew this, but they had decided to do something wicked. They said, "Father, why won't you allow Yusuf to come with us? What are you afraid of? He is our dear little brother. We are the sons of the same father. Brothers always play together. So why don't we send him with us tomorrow to frolic and play? We will watch over him." Quran, Surah 12, Ayah 12. Yaqub alayhi salam was an old man, intelligent and wise and patient. He did not want Yusuf alayhi salam to go far away from him because he was very much afraid for him. He told his sons, "I fear that the wolf may eat him while you are neglecting him." Surah 12, Ayah 13. They said, "Never. How can the wolf eat him while we are there? How could it eat him when we are strong young men?" In the end, Yaqub alayhi salam gave Yusuf alayhi salam permission to go with his brothers. The brothers were very happy when Yaqub alayhi salam gave Yusuf alayhi salam permission to go with them. He took Yusuf alayhi salam into the wilderness. They took Yusuf alayhi salam into the wilderness and threw him into a well there. They showed no mercy to Yusuf alayhi salam. They showed no mercy to their father Yaqub alayhi salam either. Yusuf was all alone in the deep, dark well. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, do not be sad, do not be afraid. Allah is with you. Something great will happen to you. Your brothers will come before you and you will tell them what they did. After the brothers had thrown Yusuf alayhi salam into the well, they got together and said, what should we tell our father? One of them said, our father said, I fear that a wolf may eat him. We will tell him, you were right, father. A wolf did eat him. The brothers agreed, yes, we will tell him. Father, the wolf ate him. One of the brothers then asked, but what proof will we have for that? The others answered, blood will provide evidence. The brothers caught a ram and killed it. Then they took Yusuf's shirt and dipped it in the blood. They were very pleased with themselves. They said, now our father will believe us. So, mashallah, what we hear or what we read in this story is the idea that sometimes in life you can be metaphorically in a well. You could be in a very dark place. You could be in a very place of problems and difficulties. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still reach out to you and call to you and say, don't worry, I'm with you. And these problems are temporary. These issues are for the now. In time, maybe a day, maybe 5 days, maybe 10 days, maybe a year, maybe 5 years. These problems will go away. And when they do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always be there. Happiness will return. As long as you are steadfast, as long as you are strong in Iman, as long as you are working towards making yourself a better person. The most important thing in life is to focus on that. Don't ever give up. So the Quran teaches us that, from the point of view of these brothers, they were killing their brother. They were throwing him in the well and that was it. And from their point of view, it was all over and done with. But even in that lowest of low positions, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam was being protected by Allah. And he was being given consolation. He was being given support. Allah Ta'ala told him, and we read from the Quran, do not worry, there will come a time when these same brothers will come before you and you will have the opportunity to tell them what they did. And through that, inshallah Ta'ala, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam gained solace. Inshallah Ta'ala, we will now move towards our next nasheed, which is My Heart Will Go On, based on the Titanic theme, but obviously with an Islamic perspective.
Every night in my dreams, I pray that I see you. That is what I ask, Allah. Far across the distance and spaces between us, I want to see your face. Near, far, Rasulullah, I can't wait to be with you and hold you and beloved. Your love can touch us one time and last for a lifetime. Your sunnahs have helped me through my life. Ya Ilahi, you have blessed us with your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. pray when I see you on that day, you will smile and call me Almighty. Please save me so Allah forgives me, then I can be in Jannah and hold you, beloved. I pray when I see you on that day, you will smile and call me Almighty. Please save me so Allah forgives me, then I can be in Jannah and hold you, beloved.
MashaAllah, that was My Heart Will Go On. So they came weeping to their father in the evening. They said, Father, we went running races and left Yusuf with our bags, and then the wolf ate him. Surah 12, Ayat 17. They brought his shirt with false blood on it. Surah 12, Ayah 18. They said, This is Yusuf's blood. Their father, Yaqub alayhi salam, was a prophet and an old man, much wiser than his sons. Yaqub alayhi salam knew that when a wolf eats someone, it rips his clothes. Yusuf's shirt was whole. It had only been dipped in blood. So Yaqub alayhi salam knew that this was not Yusuf alayhi salam's blood, and that the story about the wolf had been made up. He told his sons, This is a story you have made up. Patience is good. Surah 12, Ayah 18. Yaqub was sad indeed about Yusuf alayhi salam, but he had plenty of patience. MashaAllah, we're coming up to our break time, and inshallah after the break we will carry on. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and welcome back. This is Quran Stories. My name is Yusuf Shafi, and Eid Mubarak to all listeners. MashaAllah, this is a beautiful day for all of us. Yesterday was the first day of Eid, and today is the second. And you are listening to Ramadan Radio Wolverhampton online. SubhanAllah, we were talking about the story of Hadrat Yusuf alayhi salam, and we'd got as far as before the break, we got as far as the bit where he had been taken out by his brothers and thrown into a well and left for dead. And then the brothers had returned back to their father, Hadrat Yaqub alayhi salam, with the false blood of a ram, the blood of a ram on his shirt to say that this was his blood and that a wolf had eaten him. Let's continue with the story, inshallah. The brothers had returned home, leaving Yusuf alayhi salam in the well. They had eaten and now slept in their beds. Yusuf alayhi salam all alone in the well, and had neither slept nor eaten. The brothers forgot about Yusuf alayhi salam, but Yusuf alayhi salam did not sleep, and he did not forget anyone. Yaqub alayhi salam kept thinking about Yusuf alayhi salam, and Yusuf alayhi salam kept thinking about Yaqub alayhi salam. It was a terrible time for Yusuf alayhi salam in the deep well, out in the wilderness, hidden far down in the darkness. A group of people were traveling to Egypt through that wilderness. They were thirsty and looking for water. They saw the well and sent a man to it to bring them some water. The man came to the well and let down the bucket. He pulled the bucket up, and there was a boy in it. Surprised, the man called out, "Good news! Here is a boy." Surah 12, Ayah 18. The people hid Yusuf alayhi salam among their merchandise until the people hid Yusuf alayhi salam among their merchandise until they had travelled out of the area. When they got to Egypt, they stood in the marketplace shouting, "Who will buy this boy? Who will buy this boy?" So these people were essentially slave traders, and they were in the business of taking young boys, young children, to the marketplace and then selling them for labour. So they had a bit of a windfall, didn't they? They had this boy just presented to them from the well. Otherwise, they would have to buy that boy, or they'd have to obtain that boy somehow. And this was given to them free, so they took him to the market to sell him. The Aziz of Egypt. So the Aziz is like a king or a governor, or a very high level person within the government. The Aziz of Egypt bought Yusuf for a few silver coins. The merchant who sold him did not recognize the worth of Yusuf alayhi salam. The Aziz took him to his palace and told his wife, "Treat Yusuf well. He is an intelligent boy." So, mashallah, we see there how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change fortunes, and how Allah ta'ala can change one's qismat. Where Yusuf was left for dead, stuck in a deep dark well, and may well have just died and not got any water, not got any food, and not be able to survive. Along came these people, put the bucket down, managed to save Yusuf alayhi salam from the well, and then of course took him to Misr, took him to Egypt, where he was sold, and then he was now working in a palace. Let's go to the next nasheed, inshallah. Wonders, another beautiful nasheed.
Trees to the buzzing of the bees, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Your creation is a dream, from the stars to the moon. Your dominion is so vast, yet your beauty isn't seen. Ya Rabbi, please accept my prayer. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahmanu Ya Rahim, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahmanu Ya Rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, alayhi salatullah, alayhi barakatullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, alayhi salatullah, alayhi barakatullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
خالق الإنسان ربي بارئ الأكوان إلهي ليس لك مثيل كل عجز عن التمثيل خلقتني من عدم إلى وجود أنت ربي دائما أنت المعبود يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم
لا إله إلا الله
محمد رسول الله
عليه صلاة الله
عليه بركات الله
لا إله إلا الله
محمد رسول الله
عليه صلاة الله
عليه بركات الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول أدعوك إلهي I'm calling your name
أدعوك إلهي
I'm calling your name
أدعوك إلهي
I'm calling your name
أدعوك إلهي
I'm calling your name
يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم
لا إله إلا الله
محمد رسول الله
عليه صلاة الله
عليه بركات الله
لا إله إلا الله
محمد رسول الله
عليه صلاة الله
عليه بركات الله
لا إله إلا الله
محمد رسول الله
عليه صلاة الله
عليه بركات الله
MashaAllah, another beautiful nasheed there called Wonders. So, the wife of the Aziz was attracted to Yusuf alayhi salam. But Yusuf alayhi salam refused her advances and says, "No, I will not break my master's trust. He has been good to me and he has treated me well. I fear Allah." MashaAllah, so this shows the beautiful character of the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam and how this wife of his master Aziz, the Aziz of Egypt, her name was Zuleika, how she was attracted to him and showed him interest, but he was fearful of Allah first of all, and after that he was also not willing to abuse the trust of his master, the Aziz. The wife of the Aziz became angry and complained to her husband, but he knew that she was lying. He knew that Yusuf alayhi salam was trustworthy. He told his wife, "You are one of those who are in error." Chapter 12, Ayah 29. Yusuf alayhi salam was well known in Egypt for his good looks. When anyone saw him, they used to say, "This is no mortal, he can only be a noble angel." Surah 12, Ayah 31. The wife of the Aziz became very angry indeed, and when Yusuf kept refusing her, she said to him, "Then you will go to prison." Yusuf said, "I prefer prison." Surah 12, Ayah 33. A few days later, the Aziz decided it was better to send Yusuf to prison. He knew that Yusuf was innocent, but even so, Yusuf went to prison. The people in the prison knew that Yusuf was a noble young man with great knowledge and a merciful heart. They loved and respected him. Two other prisoners told Yusuf alayhi salam about their dreams. One of them said, "I dreamed that I was pressing grapes." The other said, "I dreamed I was carrying bread on my head, and that the birds were eating from it." Ayah 12, verse 36. They asked Yusuf alayhi salam to tell them the meanings of their dreams. Yusuf alayhi salam knew the meanings of the dreams since he was a prophet, mashallah. In Yusuf's alayhi salam's time, people worshipped things other than Allah. They said, this is the Lord of the earth, this is the Lord of the sea, this is the Lord of the crops, this is the Lord of the rain, so on and so forth. So they had many different Arabs, many different lords. And Yusuf would hear all that nonsense and weep for the ignorance of the people. He wanted to call people to the worship of Allah, Allah alone. Allah wanted that to happen also in the prison. Do not the people in prison deserve to be warned? Did not they deserve mercy too? Are not the people in the prison slaves of Allah? Are not they too sons of Adam alayhi salam? So, even in prison, Yusuf was free and brave in spirit. He was poor, but generous and open-hearted. The prophets proclaim the truth everywhere, because the truth is a blessing, and the prophets are generous with blessings in every time and place. So, we see here that within the prison, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam was active in his spreading of Tawheed, the important message of all prophets, to inform the people that all of these different gods and different deities and idols and whatever different images you have created, they are all false. There is only one God, Allah, Allah the Creator. Yusuf alayhi salam said to himself, need has driven these two men to me. The person who is in need is more open and humble. The person who is in need hears and obeys. If I teach these people something now, they will listen, and the people of the prison will also listen. So because these two people came with their dreams, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam thought, these people, I can interpret their dreams inshallah, and through that also I can influence these people. I can teach them the importance of Tawheed, one God. So Yusuf alayhi salam did not wish to answer their questions. He said, I will tell you its interpretation before your food is brought to you. Surah 12, Ayah 37. The two men sat down and were calm. Then Yusuf said to them, I know how to interpret dreams. That is part of what my Lord has taught me. The men were content to wait and listened patiently. Yusuf began his warning. Yusuf said, this is part of what my Lord has taught me. But Allah does not give His knowledge to everyone. Allah does not give His knowledge to an idol worshipper. Do you know why my Lord has taught me? Because I have left the path of idol worship. I have followed the religion of my fathers Ibrahim, Ishaq, and Yaqub alayhi salam. It is not proper for us to associate anything with Allah. Yusuf alayhi salam said, this Tawheed does not belong only to us, it is for all people. This is part of Allah's bounty to us and to mankind. But most people are not thankful. Surah 12, Ayah 38. Here Yusuf alayhi salam stopped and asked them, you say, the Lord of the earth and the Lord of the sea and the Lord of the crops and the Lord of the rain. We say, Allah, the Lord of the universe. Which is better, many different gods or Allah, the one, the all-powerful? Subhanallah. Surah 12, Ayah 39. Where is the Lord of the earth and the Lord of the sea and the Lord of the crops and the Lord of the rain? Show me what they have created in the earth, or do they have any share in the heavens? Look at the earth, look at the heaven, look at the man. This is the creation of Allah. Show me what these others have created. How can there be a Lord of the earth, a Lord of the sea, a Lord of the crops, a Lord of the rain? They are only names you yourselves have named, you and your fathers. Judgment belongs to Allah. The kingdom belongs to Allah. The earth belongs to Allah. The command belongs to Allah. Worship Him alone. That is the right religion. But most people do not know. Surah 12, Ayah 40. Bismillah. Let's go to our last nasheed for this program, and then inshallah we'll come back.
here on this special day. Our hearts are full of pleasure. A day that brings the two of you close together. We're gathered here to celebrate a moment you'll always treasure. We ask Allah to make your love last forever. Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us. And with one voice, let's all say, Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. From now you'll share all your joys. Through hardships support each other. Together worshiping Allah, seeking His pleasure. We pray that He will fill your life with happiness and blessings, and grant you kids who make your home filled with laughter. Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us. And with one voice, let's all say, Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallah, 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 Barakallahu lakum wa lana, Barakallahu lakum wa lana. Allah barik lahuma, Allah adim hubbahuma, Allah salli wa sallim ala rasulillah. Allah tub alayna, Allah irda anna, Allah ihdi khutana ala sunnat nabina. Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us. And with one voice, let's all say, Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair. Barakallahu lakuma wa baraka alaykuma wa jama'a baynakuma fi khair.
MashaAllah, that was Maher Zain, Barakallah. So when Yusuf alayhi salam finished warning them, he told them the meaning of the dreams. He said, as for the one of you, he will pour wine for his Lord. As for the other, he will be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. Surah 12, Ayah 41. Then he said to the first man, mention me in the presence of your Lord. Surah 12, Ayah 42. So when he said Lord, then he didn't mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he meant the king, because this first prisoner was destined to be the wine bearer for the king. The second prisoner was going to be crucified for his illegal activities or whatever he was imprisoned for. And that was the meanings of their dreams. But Hadrat Yusuf alayhi salam did say to the first one, when you go to the king, mention me to him. The two men left. The first became the wine bearer to the king, the other man was crucified. The wine bearer forgot to mention Yusuf alayhi salam in the presence of the king. So Yusuf remained in prison for several years. Now remember, he was totally innocent. He wasn't actually there for any particular crime. It was just the wife of the Aziz who had forced him to go into prison. The king of Egypt had then a strange dream. He saw in the dream 7 fat cows eaten by the 7 thin cows. The king also saw 7 green ears of corn, the 7 withered ears. Then 7 withered ears. The king was puzzled by this strange dream, and asked his companions what it meant. But they only said, "It is nothing. When someone is asleep, he sees many things which are not real." But the wine bearer said, "Not so. I will tell you the meaning of this dream." The wine bearer then went to the prison and asked Yusuf alayhi salam the meaning of the king's dream. Yusuf alayhi salam was noble and generous, kind and understanding to Allah's creatures. He not only explained the meaning of the dream, he also explained what should be done about it. He said, "You should plant your crops for 7 years and leave the grain you harvest in the ear except for a little which you eat. After that will come a drought of 7 years. After that, help will come, and the people will have plenty." The wine bearer went to the king and told him the meaning of the dream. When the king heard all that, he was very relieved and happy. He asked, "Who told you the meaning of the dream? Who is this noble man who has given us this advice and shown us what to do?" The wine bearer said, "It is Yusuf alayhi salam, the truthful. He is the one who told me that I would be a wine bearer to my master the king." The king wanted to meet Yusuf alayhi salam and sent for him. He said, "Bring him to me. I will attach him to myself." Surah 12, Ayah 54. MashaAllah listeners, we have now come to the point where inshallah we will carry on with the story of how Yusuf alayhi salam meets the king. Inshallah we will carry on with that next week. This is Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. Eid Mubarak to you all. My name is Yusuf Shafi, and inshallah see you all next Saturday, 12 o'clock, carrying on with the story of Yusuf alayhi salam.